Good day, good morning, and welcome to this week's episode of Strictly Legal on WESN Content Capital. I am your host, Rondell, Donawa, Attorney at Law. Once again, I'm happy to bring the law and you. You can, of course, stream us on WESN CC and all social media platforms, more particularly podcasts, right? We have an amazing podcast, Strictly Legal with Rondell Donawa, on all platforms. Today, we have an exclusive interview. We would have had last week attorney at law Daniel Ishmael Khan, who came to the studio to speak on the sentencing project, or rather reform of the sentencing system. And we would have discussed a very interesting matter that he had recently concluded with respect to Wenceslas James, who was on death row for 32 years. And he was freed. We did have an interview with him at his home. And of course, we are going to play this for you shortly. But before we get into that, I would like to welcome again on set Daniel Ishmael Khan. Good day, sir.
Yes, good day. Thank you, Donawa, for having me back here again. And I believe this case is a good platform to discuss reform on sentencing.
Indeed. Many persons obviously are asking the question, okay, why was a man who was convicted, right,
yes,
of a crime such as murder, spent his time, he escaped death row, however, he did not spend life in prison.
Yes.
He was able to be freed after 30 plus years incarcerated. So really and truly the question is just give some perspective, because as much as, yes, we, his family, you as his attorney, you're all thankful for his release, we also obviously have to look at the victims and their families' perspective. So in terms of the public, just to give the public a really overview as to why is it that we got to this position, more particularly because of the fact that this is a unique situation.
Yes. This is a 1992 incident, and the released prisoner, W. James, was arrested then. Took about 4 years for his trial. Convicted. Fair trial, 1996. He lost his appeals, 97, and in 1999, he was convicted. Well, when he was convicted with another person, Anthony Briggs. In 1999, when the released prisoner, W. James, was convicted, the death sentence was read out to him. The death sentence is still on our books, and it is still read out to prisoners or convicted persons in court. The difference with this is there was a case called Pratt and Morgan, and it really started the end of execution. So they were a bit rushing to execute people. The Dole Chady, they were making sure, and Anthony Briggs was hung. And someone had to file court proceedings and put a stay of execution on W. James. It's the only explanation, but there's no record of it. The uniqueness of the case is a death warrant is like, they say a warrant is like a bow and arrow. Once released now, that warrant, death warrant being read, it must be carried out. Within the prison systems, what really reflects is W. James' death warrant was carried out, and he is a dead person. So here he was, a dead person, alive, in a cell. You must keep a condemned man in a cell. So there's no order for resentence, because by records, the sentence is carried out. He remains there 20-something, 25 years. In 2017, it came to my attention.
So you would have started working on the case
in 2017. And we filed, it was unique at that case of a resentencing a death row person. We filed. And there was an order for resentencing in 2020. And in 2023, the sentencing court, it happened during COVID. So there were maybe 5 different reports. Biosocial went to speak to the family of the deceased. Their views were taken into consideration. And he was finally released after 32 years based on his high rehabilitative efforts in prison. and deemed a very low-risk offender. And so, well, he escaped the death sentence for a question mark. He wasn't given life because when he was resentenced now, it was deemed that the 32 years that he was spent in prison, upwards of 27 or maybe 26 in death row, satisfied the principles of sentencing.
Is it that it satisfies the principles of a life sentencing?
No, it doesn't. You see, the law has developed from mandatory death sentence to, well, not mandatory, but we don't have it. Then life, then term of years. The idea is you only impose life if there's no chance of rehabilitation. But the issue discusses the balance between the deterrent principle and the rehabilitation. So you really have to only release somebody after all the principles. And his rehabilitative efforts were very good, as reflected in the biosocial, and he was released sometime this month.
And obviously, this is one for the history books.
Yes, this is it's a very unique case.
It's a unique case. He was released just last week, just when you came, and we had the opportunity to, with myself and the studio, had the opportunity to visit Mr. James, obviously by his consent, right? Just to get his perspective, to see who is Mr. James, right? And also just to understand, his mindset, what would have happened, and how he plans to basically live out the rest of his life. Of course, this interview, it's sensitive, but we will take you to it now. Mr. Wincelus James, but I will call you W. James. That's fine. What can I say? Welcome home.
Thank you very much.
Welcome home. Of course, how does it feel to be a free man?
After 32 years in prison, it's a joy and a feelings I can't really explain. It's just a happiness.
Now, of course, if we are to go back as to the reason why you're a free man, in speaking with Mr. Khan, who was your attorney at law, you would have been charged for murder or convicted of murder sometime in 1996.
1996.
And there would have been many appeals, right, in terms of your conviction, which had failed.
Yes.
You would have spent the longest time on death row, right? So you would have been sentenced to hang, basically.
Yes, I did.
During that time, and based on a lot of legal challenges,
yes.
From my understanding, in 2020, you would have gone through the resentencing situation.
Yes.
With one of the judges, where she would have squashed your death row conviction,
death sentence. Order to be removed from death row.
So move from death row to...
Which I was never moved.
Yeah, so you will never move from death row.
Until the 22nd of December 2022, last year.
And now in November, one of the justices of the courts, of the local courts, would have basically sentenced you in terms of a number of years, a fixed life,
right.
a fixed term, sentence, and you will have spent the number of years that is required.
Way beyond that.
Way beyond that, over 30 years. And basically, this is why you are now able to walk away a free man.
Right, and in so doing, they say, well, a person on death row not supposed to spend more than 5 years before executed. If not executed, remove that person 5 years from death row. However, based on the fact that the lapse in the judiciary caused this to happen, that caused me to spend so long on death row, 27 years.
Let's go through. I mean, I don't want to go through too much in terms of the actions, but more in terms of your time in prison. Of course, your stories out there in terms of your name, what would have happened. We are not rehashing what happened, but most importantly, that day when you were carded to be executed.
You are right. I was supposed to be executed on Friday, 29th of July, 1999. The judge had stated for me to Wincelus James to get hanged first. However, it didn't happen that way. They hanged Anthony Briggs.
Anthony Briggs.
Yeah.
And I recall from reading your story, Anthony Briggs was hanged and you were about to be...
I was to be executed first but they execute Anthony Briggs first instead. And while he was on the chamber, which is on the trap, the hangman trap, I come and I get something called a reprieve, which is a stay execution.
But before that point, what was running through your mind? I mean, the fact that, you know, such as the Amnesty International call it, the Barbaric Act.
Right.
What was going through your mind in terms of you getting to that point of knowing that, listen, this is your last time seeing the walls of prison, or not going to see your family no more, just knowing that, listen, at the end of the day, I'm no more.
Right, well, this is by the great divine intervention by the Most High. As I grew up in a spiritual background family, where we are right now, I know not to give up. I always had hope and I have faith. I believe in myself. My body was in prison, but my mind was in the free world.
Did you see this opportunity as a second lease of life, knowing that you would have, I mean, your execution was stopped last minute. Up to this day, I know that you don't understand why that happened.
Many people could never understand why.
But
it will remain a mystery.
It will remain a mystery. Maybe it's because, and I will get into that relationship with your mother and your mother being a praying woman.
Right.
You know, as we said, you grew up in a Christian home.
I'm still saying thanks not only to my mother, to the whole community, because everybody was praying together.
No, you spent that time in prison. You would have obviously you have been spared life. Now, what was it like in the system, in the prison system, for that number of years? That's over 3 decades.
3 decades and counting. Right? Well, in the sense that when you reach into death row, when you get convicted as a condemned prisoner, you lose all your rights as a condemned prisoner. All your entitlement, you lose all that. You have no form of recreation, no form of rehabilitation, no form of education, because you're a condemned prisoner. When you became a condemned prisoner, you became a high-risk prisoner.
And you were considered a high-risk prisoner?
Yes.
So basically, you were on your own. You were in a cell on your own.
Once you are sentenced to hang, each individual will be in a cell by themselves.
And you were in a cell by yourself for how many years?
26 years and counting, 27. From Friday the 21st of June 1996 until the 22nd of December 2022.
That's a long time to be in a cell on your own.
Yeah.
Not having the access like ordinary prisoners, because obviously you would have been considered condemned high risk.
Well,
what did you do to keep yourself active, to keep alive?
Well, this is
not having to go crazy.
Right. This is the, how I should say, this is the $1,000,000 question. Everybody wants to know how I make it.
Yeah.
But my mind, as I say, my body was in prison. Now, condemn is a place, they refine you. They restrain you. They try to keep it narrow. They try to put pressure on you. When you trip up, but if you study something, it will carry along. It come like stress. I find a solution for my stress. My body was in prison, but my mind was in Mayo. So I never let nothing make a problem. I never make a problem for nothing.
So you won't allow exercise? You won't allow...
No, you lock down 24 hours a day. Well, actually, 23 hours you lock down 1 hour a day. You're entitled to go file hearing, but restrain. I couldn't take the restraint, handcuff on my hand and handcuff on my foot, shackle. They shackle my foot and shackle my hand. So I used to avoid going for the 1 hour hearing.
Did at any point you thought that you would not make it?
I always knew I'd make it. My mindset. Yeah. Mindset.
Now, you mentioned your mom. Your mom is 96?
96, venturing into 97 via 2024.
Wow. So when you were incarcerated, you were in your 20s. Your mom obviously would have been...
I turned 20 the first week I went in prison.
So your mom would have been much younger.
Yeah.
You know, and...
She never gave up on me.
She never gave up. Tell me your relationship with your mom.
It's the greatest relationship I have as a friend. Never failed me. Never failed me.
And she continued hopeful and praying that one day she would see her son
home.
And
with the support of the villagers, everybody, have that woman alive today. So I just thank the whole village for that.
Because looking
I'm
at
a
her,
backbone, I'm a strength.
looking at her, you would never think
When she come to visit
that
me, she
she's
just
at
give me
age.
strength.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And she religiously
Yeah.
visited you
Yeah.
during your time.
Right. Religious. Regularly.
So, on reflection, you know, you would have served time, you have had time to reflect. What is your reflection post freedom? Meaning, what is your intention post freedom in terms of reintegrating back into society?
Well, I reintegrate myself years before I come out here, because if you don't have a plan, you will fail. And if, like how I spent a certain amount, 31 going into 32 years in prison, and I, like how I am in society here now, where they welcome me, and I go backwards to see, well, look, I spent so much years in jail. That is failure, you know, because there's nothing I could do to make up for that time, but I could focus and progress in the future.
And what kind of progress you're looking at? Because you're relatively young, I mean, you're under 60. So you haven't reached retirement age yet, and you're looking well.
I could operate any kind of excavator, but
Yes.
I don't want to go into that. I prefer going to farming and gardening, which I have the support of my family.
Yeah. And farming is a big incentive.
Yeah.
It's a big incentive.
I could plant anything.
Yeah. And obviously you did not have that time to plant, well, you didn't have that opportunity to plant.
While I was in the
While you
condemn,
were
I should do a lot
condemned.
of reading. When I hold a paper to read, it come like a Bible. I read it from Genesis to Revolution.
And tell us, have you been exposed to books in
Well,
condom?
as I say, condemn, they just take away your rights, your privilege to govern it. Like our remand prisoner will have certain access to certain things. He couldn't even wear sneakers in the condom. There's a slippers, a white shorts and a white shirt. Anywhere you go in, you have an officer escorting you. If you're going to the toilet, an officer escort you. If you're bathing, an officer escort you. All condemned prisoners are high-risk prisoners. And lights 24 on, 24 on. And when I went into the condom, there was like this wrong house bulb. I used to have a band my face so to sleep because that light ain't coming off at all. So I make it throughout that period.
And let's talk about your legal battles. I mean, the team that was behind you. Of course, we had Mr. Daniel Khan and his
I
team.
must compliment Mr. Daniel Khan and Mr. Singh to the most high.
Because without them,
At that time,
it would
right?
have been
At that time, I feel like
challenging.
my back against the wall.
Yeah.
And I say, well, he's it here. But I never give up. I continue to struggle. My mother is a warrior, so I come under my mother's spirit. She's a warrior in the spiritual way. So I became a warrior, which means you don't give up a battle. We go in for victory, and we go in for victory. We have to win this case, and we have to win this case.
And have you been familiarized with, I mean, of course, you know, the works of the Death Penalty Project?
Well, I
The
witnessed
persons,
10
yeah?
executions.
Yep.
I witnessed the execution of Tochi Lenny Gang and Anthony Briggs. And here, it's a mind thing, because when I hear the chop fly, and I hear the cables working, it's a kind of loud sound like boom, boom, clack, 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 clack. It's two half a door, you know. Two half a door. And they don't put on flower bag suit on me already, you know. Strap my hand behind my back, they hang me, you know. I have on a flower bag pants and a flower bag top, and the man have a hoodie. A hoodie is like that. A hoodie is like that. They just put that over your face and put the rope here. I was done strap up already to go down the trap. When I went in that trap, before they even take Briggs, when I went in there, it was human filth, like bucket, the size of a barrel cover, filled with blood in it. The place was, the stench was unbearable. It was unbearable. And I keep hearing it. When, like especially when they was hanging three a day, every time it go boom, clack, 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 clack. It's two half a door, so it just go down and echo back up its springs.
Yeah. That
Yeah,
was
it's a mental
obviously-
thing.
Yeah, that was obviously traumatic. Obviously traumatic. And I mean, 30-something years later, I mean, in terms of your mental health, I mean, I understand that you stated that, you know, your mind was always in Mayo.
Yeah.
But in terms of your mental health,
Well-
what are you doing about that right now? Because obviously you are free, but you're still rehashing the daunting
Well, all right.
issues of almost death.
In respect to the mental health situation, I had two serious issues. One is my eyesight. Because I'm in a room, if I do so, my two fingertips stretch so touching both sides of the walls. Both sides of the walls, they're touching the wall. And it was like about from here to that wall right. If I only skip so I bounce that wall. Confined environment.
And now coming home. How did you feel sleeping on the
Great.
the old
I
bed?
reborn, I born free.
Born free. Yeah.
I born free.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, on the lighter side, you know, you were placed back in remand. Was it a remand after your conviction was squashed?
Let me get a little rundown on how it
Yeah.
went. When I nearly get executed, I get the death sentence read out me twice. Nearly get executed once. Go back in the condemn. The judge sent me to them. Sentence. Where I went amongst legal mad people for 3 weeks. For 3 weeks. Amongst the legal mad people.
What was the reason for you being sent to sentence?
Yeah, well, they sent me sentence for something called a psychiatrist evaluation to see if I will function, because the judge asked me if I was a madman. To see how I will function.
Yeah.
But at the same time, when I went back from sentence, I went back in the condemnment.
Right.
From the condemnment, came out the 22nd of December, then they carried me to MSP prison on the 22nd of January.
And that is in 2021.
2022.
2022.
Yeah.
And, you know, you mentioned off air that you are a man into the arts, right? You say that you just sing like Barra.
Yeah.
Right? You also entered the Calypso competition. You know, prison service has a big Calypso competition for inmates.
Yes.
Right? So you have entered that. Tell us how did you how did you come about to enter that? Is it that you were composing songs while you were in condemned?
I sure and thing. I used to compose and thing.
Right. And you decided to sing on your own.
Right.
What was the song you performed?
In 2014, I sang a song called Sing Win So Sing.
Sing Win So Sing.
Yes.
Tell us about the song. What made you compose that tune?
A politics.
Right.
Sing Win So Sing. And I was observing what people were saying, listening to the radio program in the radio. Because you have no TV on that too. It's a radio. And what was going on in the country, and I just put it to piece and I make a song and I sang it.
And did you win that competition?
Yes, sir. I came out second.
You came out second. Nice. And I was speaking to you about even, you know, someone else who was on
From YTC?
Yeah, from YTC, right, who was convicted of murder. He as well was able to be released. And it's not only about the fact that he spent the longest time on death row, but it's also about your good record. Your good record. I would have read or privy to your probation your probation report, which was excellent. You know, you would have had great reviews and great recommendations, you know, from various persons within the system as to why is it that you are fit to be released. Correct?
Well, yes. Well, the authorities, I get a proper record from sentence and the prison. I was never a troublesome one. I always like to listen, react. I never had no conflict with no prison officer over that period of time. I could talk from myself. How the officers treat me, I cannot complain.
So tell us, in closing, what advice do you have for, you know, young people or the country as a whole, or what do you want to state in terms of yourself being a freed man? You have done your time, you are out. You know, this is testament of reintegrating society, of rehabilitation, right? Although you weren't able to be rehabilitated, but in essence, through your legal battles, through your time spent, through what you have done, you have been able to be rehabilitated. And you know, what advice you have to persons in society now, in terms of, one,
I will tap on one thing in
being in
regards
prison,
to that.
and two, crime.
I will tap on one thing in regards to that. Education is the key that makes the foundation for a young human being to grow up in society. Why I say that? If I couldn't read and write, I'd have rotten in prison. The power of the pen is mightier than the sword. Even when I went into sentence, they gave me a questionnaire to follow up with 450 questions. They said, Mr. James, we're giving you 2 weeks to follow that. That lady there, Miss Barbara James, gave me the proper schooling. I feel in the sense that I get charged for offense. But schooling, thank God I could read and write, I finish it in 2 hours. 450 questions.
Oh. And your family, your children?
And everybody just cool, was happy.
Yes.
It's a glory, it's a joy, it's a glory then.
And you're a father of 7, that you said?
That I know.
That you know. As I say, started young, but of course, you know, there's an opportunity for you to bond, you know, with your family, and take things one day at a time.
Sweet Jesus.
All right, and enjoy the food, enjoy the Christmas, in time for Christmas.
My time.
And as we're in time for Christmas, where you say we sing a little Baron?
Yeah,
because we could take your time, so we have to do a little performance, right?
In the back.
Yeah, we do it in the back.
Not a problem.
So guys, W. James,
Wenceslas
has always mixed up name. But as we know him, Wenceslas W. James, he's a free man. And of course, we thank his attorneys, we thank his judicial system, you know, for allowing him the access.
Must thank Mr. Khan and Mr. Singh, the entire team.
The entire team. And it's not just about being free. It's about the fact that, yes, he has spent his life, or he has spent a majority of his time in prison.
But I would also like to see that the authorities put things in place that what had transpired with me that could never, should never reoccur with the next prisoner.
And it will never.
Because I was in the kitchen, I feel the heat. A person who had to kill nobody to end up in the condemn. A person who had to commit a crime to be in prison. Many are called and few are chosen. But the justice system, everybody just cry out for peace. Who crying out for justice? We need justice. We need justice.
And justice not only for the accused, but justice for both parties.
Both sides.
Both sides.
Let it be level on the table.
Yeah.
50-50. And the judiciary have to take some responsibility for it. If the court say a man is supposed to spend 5 years on death row, you keep a man for 27 years, 3 months on death row. Plus, I have a death certificate with the state. I didn't say so. It's in black and white in, where I was executed and buried.
Because even history
At Happy Valley in Golan Grove Road.
Even history had it that
history of it as a deceased.
You are deceased.
So I then supposed to tell the state I want a new name. Because when Wenceslas James dead, Charles Gaspar.
That's something for your attorney to fight on your behalf. We're fixing that. Yes, Mr. James. But of course, you know, we are grateful. Your mom is grateful, your family is grateful. And we just wish you all the best. You know, we hope that, you know, your life is transformed. Right? And before we close, we want to hear a little tune from you because it's our talented man.
And I still want to say thanks for my attorney.
Yes.
Everything. And for the people in my community.
Yes.
They all know who they are.
Yes.
I will always be grateful and thankful for them because them is part of my team.
Yeah.
In order for we to work together with the attorney to get this victory what we have here today.
And we've seen that. We've seen that displayed today.
Yes.
So, Mr. James.
Thank you, sir.
So the man say that he is a performer. He's a calm student like myself. You know, so let me hear a little thing, you know.
And I love Baron music.
And I love Baron.
Love Baron music. Love Baron music.
He loved the Timothy Watkins. So show Baron.
Kid them.
With,
Yo! Would they? Kid them. Oh, God.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
So give me something now.
All the girls in town like the way how I sing my song for them. When I jam my tune, it does go from tune to tune. They say, honey child, I want to see the baron go wild, wild, wild. And I singing, I'm the baron. They call me the sweet soca man.
Sweet soca man.
When I jam you, I know you will understand.
Sweet soca man.
All the men in the town wants to knock me down.
The soca man.
Cause they know I'm the king of the action around. Please don't knock him down. Yo, would they? Oh Lord, get them.
I like that one.
Yeah.
Nice one. Where we going again?
They want a Spanish woman. It's Christmas out
So
here.
exactly.
It's Christmas out here.
So start it. Take
know
the
the
floor.
song, I know the song.
Take the floor. I want a Spanish woman to marry me. Pay me a soca parang to move with me. Parang so nice, parang so sweet. Parang soca.
Hey, parang soca. Yo, would they? Oh Lord, get them.
Get them. Nice
Hey.
one, nice one,
Yeah.
nice one. So what about your original composition?
Well,
Remember, you sang a song too? You
Yes.
sang a calypso?
I could remember the chorus.
Right, well sing it for you. Sing it for us, man. Sing it.
Sing, wind so sing. Sing, wind so sing. I am the undisputed champion. So to sing, wind so sing. Never a lot of people never know I could sing kaiso. I come from south and a village they call Mayo. I was incarcerated for 32. Now I come to give them something where they may know. Sing, win, so sing. Together with Mr. Donawa, my Tony is Mr. Khan, the photographer. Sing, win, so sing. Sing, win, so sing. I am the undisputed Kaiso King.
Kaiso 2024, he coming for we. Yeah, he coming for us, right? Carnival 2024.
Yeah, I
you
do
can't
with
miss
them.
that.
Yeah,
Right?
and I like my
Because-
halos too, you know.
And you like your halos. Well, take
Yo.
it away. Take away the halos.
A lot of people trying to make confusion, to put Baran against me. But for your information, the Baran don't song like me. Cause whenever you hear me singing, it's not flamming, I am just being me. So we both have one thing in common. It's a gift from heaven, and I don't like it bad. Hey, please don't take me for Baran. For your information, the Baran don't song like me. Cause whenever you hear we singing,
Yes.
it's not flamming,
Yes,
we
I'm
just being me. Well, yeah, get them.
Who there?
Would they? Oh, Lord.
Mr. James.
Yes, sir.
The performer, yes, you see?
Well, you could get a little
Where you
Christmas
get-
parang.
and you
I'll
could
give
get
you
a
a sweet
Christmas
little
parang?
I'm going to do a traditional parang.
All right.
You
Take
ready
it
for
away.
the traditional
Take it
parang?
away. Take it away. It's your stage.
Let me get them a traditional parang here. Que venga llorar. Adola yo río del corazón, ay. Adola yo río del corazón. Adola yo río del corazón. Que venga llorar. Que venga llorar. Adola yo río del corazón. Adola yo río del corazón. Sereno será. Sereno será, esa son sereno de la matoga, esa son sereno de la matoga. Que venga llorar, que venga llorar. Yo no panzanero, yo no panzarillo del corazón. Canta.
Canta, baila. Nice one.
Yeah.
Nice one.
Just how I do it, other prisoners could do it.
Yes. So guys, there you have it, the exclusive interview with Mr. Wincelos, I got the name correctly, Mr. Wincelos James, who is a freed man. He has gone through the justice system. He spent his time. This is an extraordinary case. We got to know who he is. Obviously, we did have a light moment, but respecting exactly why we did what we did. To understand the judicial system, to understand why is it that he would have been incarcerated for so long, and basically, as he said, Casper, a ghost. But thanks to his attorney, Daniel Ishmael Khan and team, that he was successful, and hope that he reintegrates and he changes around his life. So Daniel, your thoughts?
Yeah, well, the first time seeing the video, it's wonderful, capturing the issue. Because as an attorney, you seek your client's interest, and the client's interest is to be sentenced to a fair sentence. But as a citizen and an attorney concerned about the judicial system, we must acknowledge that this person took a role in snuffing out an innocent life. And here you try to juxtapose his human nature to show that, yes, he took a role in killing a person. Should he have been killed himself? Is his life worth anything? Should he even be allowed to be free? Should he sing as happy as he is, knowing that he has caused so much pain? And, we tell a story because we want to tell other sides, but, the pain and trauma caused by crime is the biggest issue we have in the country. So we mean no disrespect, to see a free man sing, but that's what free men do, they sing.
Yeah, indeed.
And certainly it comes to the issue, should we have the death sentence? What do we do about levels of involvement in crimes? Do we differentiate categories of killings? Do we keep life imprisonment? Do we do term of years? But the way it is now, the system has deemed that person, W. James, has served his time and met the 5 principles of sentencing, and he is allowed to sing. He has done his crime, and if there's
and
need
he has done his time. I mean, notably, his description of how the conditions
yes.
of his incarceration.
Yes.
Basically, 4 walls you're looking at daily.
Yes.
Not being able to, you've lost your rights,
yes,
your constitutional and fundamental rights. So obviously, 30 plus years in prison is a long time.
Long time.
That is a long. That's your entire life.
Yes.
He would have went in his 20s. He's now 59.
Yeah.
That is a long time. And I mean, obviously, there will be many perspectives. Of course, in terms of, we look at the victim's side, we also look at, at his family side as well. And why I say it's an extraordinary case, because, being there and listening to his mom and his family, sometimes in big families, there's one.
The bad egg.
Yeah, there's always a bad egg that sometimes embarrasses. Even when I was, reading the story, even his father, who's deceased now, he didn't speak with him for years. Disappointment, his siblings, etc. But getting to understand at the end of the day, that's your family, that's your brother, that's your blood. So there, you can't fault a family for loving.
No.
For loving their blood, regardless of the circumstances. And at the end of the day, whatever judgment or whatever retribution, really and truly, that in my mind, coming from a spiritual background, that's for Judgment Day, that's for God,
yeah.
To obviously make that call when that time comes.
Yes, well, I mean, retribution is one principle of sentencing, but it's a difficult one because retribution is never satisfied. Retribution is one man was hanged for the killing of that deceased in this crime, that's Anthony Briggs. There was another man involved, he wasn't hanged. Retribution is never satisfied. And I hope to move the needle. I've been in prison reform for 6 years. I'm in criminal justice attorney, defense attorney for more than 15 years. To move the needle away from retribution, not totally away because that must be satisfied, and a little towards, if possible, towards rehabilitation. But I think to get there is to have public discussion, and to have public discussion is to have controversial issues raised, touchy topics. Should a murderer be alive? Is a touchy topic. But well done to the show, Strictly Legal, on bringing this legal issue. The case, I think you did an extraordinary job in capturing the moment and balancing the issue. And I thank you for having me here, and I hope this leads to reform, both in categorizations of murders and the Sentencing Commission that could deal with some of these important issues.
And as you would have mentioned prior, in terms of the Criminal Bar Association,
yes.
and the resentencing project that you all are embarking on, by virtue within the ambits of obviously the law.
Yes.
But just wind up in terms of how this case, what is next, because obviously, I mean, persons are seeing this. There may be inmates who probably, are on death row. What is their chances of being resentenced? How does the criminal bar weigh the crime versus victim? It's a discussion, and obviously, how do you all intend to focus on striking that balance?
Well, in the public forum, we plan, the criminal law plans to bring public education and also to have online lectures in a mentorship program where we'll have online lectures speaking about sentencing and asking interested young attorneys if they want to join the criminal defense bar. We have instructions from at least 50 inmates that need to be resentenced. That is not from WJM circumstance, but a case called Naresh Budram 2020, which decided in Privy Council in 2022. Since Naresh Budram 2022, perhaps 10 to 15 condemned persons, previously condemned persons, have been resentenced.
That Naresh Budram case was particularly in relation to resentencing.
Resentencing. What they said, when you have your Pratt and Morgan and they just carte blanche give you life, they said that was wrong. You must look at the individual circumstances. You could still get a life sentence. You could get a term of years, but it has affected many prisoners and criminal bar in their aim to mentor young attorneys that don't have access to a senior attorney, to teach them some skill in this simple sentencing exercise, and to offer pro bono assistance to inmates that are in need of sentencing. We hope to achieve all those ends in January, and I hope with this human interest case, some young lawyers who obviously attracted to your show can join when they'll get the notice when we're ready to go first thing in 2024.
And what would you, how would you address the public's concerns that with respect to, the attorneys who are, at the end of the day, I'm from a public perspective, these attorneys trying to get off these criminals.
Yes.
But obviously, there's need to explain what your duty.
Yes.
Right. Your legal duty. Right. I think it's important to explain that.
Yeah, of course. Public education is important because we are providing a service that keeps the system going. But to have public confidence in the administration of justice, the public must know what is going on. To know what is going on means you need to be educated and be informed. The Sentencing Commission, that if it is set up, has public consultations, can go out to communities and say, well, what do you think about this? Collect information, report back to Parliament, and say, well, the people find these sentences are too low. Parliament takes into the consideration, and it needs reform, certainly. And a start like this is having a responsible conversation on a responsible show like this, not emotive. Some of those papers are just for emotions, just to buy the paper that day, get riled up, forget it a week later. But I really want to commend you and Strict Legal team for the presenting of this issue in a responsible manner. And I'm hopeful the way we have brought across the issue would lead to reform. And I must thank you for when I called you to get on your show, but I thank you for having me.
That's no problem at all. And of course, this program is really to inform, right? Inform, guide, as well as, various legal issues. I mean, we have started this program for more 2+ years. We are close to 100 episodes, soon with some breaks in the middle, obviously because of professional circumstances as well. So Daniel, any closing words before we leave the studio? Because I know I would see you again.
Yes. Well, no, just generally that, it's attorneys' roles to discuss difficult issues and educate. And, attorneys get a lot of fire for bringing hot topics, but it's part of our role and it only strengthens us. So any attorney that's watching this program, I think they should get in contact with you and say, I have interesting topics to talk about. And I think discussions this where attorneys can take charge of topics is a wonderful way forward in our duty with our profession to educate the public. And I just grateful to hear to be about sentencing. The criminal bar would love any member to come and talk about any, because criminal justice system covers, you know, judge alone trials versus jury trials, police killings, self-defense reform. It's a wonderful opportunity you've provided, and well done on this one, and I'm looking forward to the ones in the future.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Daniel. So it's a wrap. All the best to you. Thank you so much for watching this special episode of Strictly Legal on WESN Content Capital. Of course, you can watch our review and our replays, and not forgetting, the podcast, Strictly Legal with Rondell Donawa, for those on the go. And before I leave you with this quote: act as if what you do makes a difference. It does. Have a blessed day.